Hello everyone, my name is SalientWolf and welcome back to my channel. So as usual, I'm uploading my daily video. Just kidding, I didn't upload a video yesterday, so I just want to apologize for that. And basically in today's video, I want to talk about a certain city in the Midwestern United States that I have lived in for about 3 years, from August of 2013 to July of 2016. So, about 2 years and 11 months, which isn't really that long, but it was long to me because I was young. So, what can I say about the city? I want to start with the pros before I move on with the cons because there are quite a bit. But anyway, the pros of living in this specific city is that, well, the biggest pro I could possibly find, or I could possibly think of for this specific city, is that it was in close proximity to Mount Rushmore National Memorial. I don't know why I needed to specify that. So, once in the blue moon, when I lived in this city, I would travel to Mount Rushmore with my family. I have actually been traveling to Mount Rushmore for pretty much my whole life like 20 years before I lived in this city. No, I'm not that old. I've pretty much been going to Mount Rushmore since I was about 2 or 3 years old, and this city is in really close proximity to Mount Rushmore, so I would travel there once in a blue moon with my whole family, and I would have a great time. Another pro about the city is that it's remote. It lies in the western part of the United States. Well, the Midwestern part of the United States. But it was quite remote and far away from the nearest other city. So that's actually what I liked about it. I liked the location. And I honestly liked the small population. It wasn't too big, it wasn't too small, and it was kind of like Goldilocks. So it was just because it was just right for me. And I don't know, I just really liked the location. Another thing that I liked about this city is that it was kind of a resort city, and what I mean by resort city is that there was a whole bunch of hotels, inns, and vacation rentals around the city and the surrounding area. So, any traveler who wishes to visit this specific city can book one of those many hotels. There's actually one in particular I like on the west side of the city. It's actually a really niche hotel with a nice little pool and everything. The last time I went there was about 7 or 8 years ago, when I was actually still living in the city, but I didn't actually stay in that hotel. I just went to a restaurant nearby to that hotel, but the last time I actually stayed in that hotel was about 12 years ago. 2 years before I even lived in that city, and I traveled out to this city for a wedding. But in addition to the city being a resort city, it was also a really nice getaway from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. And what I mean by that is that you could actually travel to the city for like a weekend or a week or 2 weeks, and the city is just so full of other like attractions, buildings. It even has a shopping mall and a bunch of restaurants, and they all just provide a really relaxing atmosphere for any weary travelers who want to escape the life in general. Just go to this city, and quite possibly the biggest pro of them all is there's a particular water park resort on the far east side of the city that is actually considered the newest side, because as you're watching this video and listening to my voice, there's actually a whole subdivision being constructed right now on the far east side of the city. And right by this brand new subdivision that's literally being built right now is a water park resort that receives like thousands or tens of thousands of visitors per year. I don't know, but it's a very large water park, and I actually have a lot of great memories there. I was actually one of the first ever visitors to this water park after it was first built, and I just had an overall great time at it. It's still there. I'm not sure if I should name it or not, but that honestly doesn't matter to me. So this is about the city in general and why I won't go back. And with that, I'm going into the cons of living in this city. Basically, the best con that I can actually think of is the locals and the people you actually meet in this city, or at least the people I hung out with. I'm actually telling this off my own personal anecdote, so be aware. And here's a bit of a disclaimer. Now I honestly don't see a point in giving a disclaimer since it's now 8 minutes into this video. So the locals and the people you'll meet there. The people that I hung out with personally were all really bad influences on me. Like, this city is basically where I first heard the N-word, which was actually spoken by quite a number of my classmates in middle and high school. So honestly, the only parts of the city I'd actually stay away from are the west parts, where my old middle and high school were. And I know this city has likely changed a lot in the past 10 years, but I'd honestly just want to play it safe and not travel to the city for a while. And as honestly, the people there were just really bad influences on me. Like, they kind of taught me how to say bad things. They taught me, hold on, I'm trying to remember. I'm so sorry. They taught me, they basically told me that certain drugs like weed and cocaine were really good for you, which they're not. Don't ever smoke weed. Don't ever snort cocaine, because those do devilish things to your body. And if you do smoke weed or snort cocaine, just know that I don't want to talk to you. So they basically told me stuff like that, and they also taught me how and when to use the N-word. And it sickens me just saying that. Like, it really sickens me just saying that people in this city that I hung out with or hung around. I'm starting to get hot. It honestly really sickens me to know that the classmates I hung out with, who I thought were gonna be good influences on me, actually taught me how and when to use and say the N-word. So I just don't want to associate myself with those people anymore. And another reason why I don't like the locals is that they weren't very nice to me. See, I don't know if you know this about me, and if you couldn't already tell, I'm autistic. And that's a big reason why a lot of the locals didn't really hang out with me or want to come over to my house, because they knew that I was autistic and therefore they would think I was weird. And so any kids I hung out with would actually refuse to come into my house myself, or the parents of the children would actually refuse to let them come into my house because, I was a weird kid. And so, personally, I think that's discrimination against me just because I'm autistic. But honestly, I don't know. I'll leave that for all of you to decide. So, that's quite possibly the biggest con that I could ever think of for living or even traveling to the city. So in conclusion, the biggest pro that I could think of was it's a resort city with a bunch of hotels and other attractions to occupy yourself if you travel to the city for a weekend or maybe a week or 2 weeks. And the biggest con that I can think of is the locals. They were really bad influences on me. They taught me how to use the N-word. They taught me that a whole bunch of drugs like weed and cocaine were actually good for you, which they're not. And the locals were actually really, really discriminatory against me just because I have autism. And the parents of the children I hung out with or met would actually refuse to let them come into my house because, I was weird. The kids would probably get really uncomfortable by me. Spoiler alert, they wouldn't. And would just want to stay the hell away from me. So, yeah, that's pretty much the entire video. And I should really script these so I'm not saying the whole time. So I apologize for that. I'll try to do better in the next video. So now you know my reasons why I won't go back to Rapid City. So thank you so much for watching, and this is SalientWolf signing off.